Before the satellites, before GPS, before even America had a name, sailors told stories of an island that appeared once every 7 years, always in the same place, off the coast of Ireland in the cold Atlantic fog. They called it Hy-Brasil. No one knew who lived there. No one could prove they had been, but it was drawn on maps for over 500 years. Some said it was the home of a forgotten civilization, a land of eternal sunlight, ancient knowledge, and hidden power. Others believed it was a mirage, a sailor's dream. But if that were true, why did so many maps from different countries show the same island in the same place? In 1325, the first known map of Hy-Brasil appeared. Italian cartographer Angelino Dulcert marked it clearly, west of Ireland, surrounded by deep water. Then came more maps from Spain, Portugal, France. In 1375, the Catalan Atlas showed Hy-Brasil as a round island with a river running through the middle. Exactly the same shape, every time. What's more, many of these maps were created independently. The cartographers had never met. They drew from sailor reports, explorer logs, and word of mouth. Somehow, everyone agreed. There was an island in the Atlantic that appeared, vanished, and reappeared. Even in 1560, after many claimed it had already vanished, Gerardus Mercator, the most respected cartographer in Europe, included it. On the map, he labeled it Insula Brazil, not as a myth, but as a place. Hy-Brasil wasn't just drawn once, it was drawn again and again and again across the centuries, until suddenly, it was gone. By the 1800s, Hy-Brasil disappeared from maps, but not from memory. That's when the stories began to change. People didn't just see the island anymore. They remembered being there. For centuries, Hy-Brasil was only found on maps. Then came the stories of people who saw it with their own eyes. In 1674, Captain John Nisbet was sailing from Ireland to France when a thick fog rolled in. Through the mist, he claimed he saw an island, round, green, with a mountain at the center. He sent a small crew ashore. They returned hours later, wide-eyed and shaken. They spoke of a peaceful island with silent stone towers. Strange animals roamed the fields, and in the distance, figures watched them from the trees, but never came close. Captain Nisbet's account was written down and shared in London. It was even published in newspapers. The world believed him, for a time. Then, another sighting. 1872. An Irish fishing boat returned to Galway, claiming they had seen land where there should have only been ocean. The crew drew pictures. They described rivers, mountains, and blackbirds that circled the island in silence. They tried to reach the shore, but the island faded into mist before they arrived. And the sightings didn't stop. In 1957, a pilot flying from Boston to London reported land appearing below his aircraft, a circular mass surrounded by water, not marked on any chart. He radioed it in. The air tower checked all coordinates. There was nothing there. But the pilot swore he saw it. It wasn't an illusion, he said. It cast a shadow on the water. Even in the 1990s, hikers in Western Ireland claimed to see a strange island appear off the coast on clear days and disappear as clouds approached. These were not just legends, they were logged accounts from sailors, pilots, and local citizens, all describing the same thing. A circular island near Ireland that shouldn't be there, but is, always in the same place, and always just out of reach. What if the maps weren't wrong? What if the island didn't vanish, but hid itself? Or worse, what if the island chooses who sees it? As sightings of Hy-Brasil continued, so did the efforts to explain or silence them. Some accounts were printed, others vanished. Some were mocked, others were classified. In 1983, a former intelligence translator from the UK leaked a debriefing report from the Cold War era. It described an object referred to as HB Zone Atlantic Anomaly. Coordinates 52 degrees north, 15 degrees west. Same place Hy-Brasil had always been drawn. The document included radar data from 1956 to 1977, periods where a mass briefly appeared in satellite scans, only to vanish hours later. The report was labeled Tier 3 Unexplained. Final note, Surveillance not recommended. Optical interference observed. No follow-up mission was recorded. But there was another file, one not intended to be shared. In 2002, an independent researcher received a package from an anonymous sender in Galway. Inside were fragments of a torn journal, water damaged but legible. It was written by Captain Elias Martin, an explorer who vanished in 1908. "We reached the island by accident," one page read. "The birds did not move. The trees were too straight. We stayed one night. In the morning, Thomas was gone. There are no voices on this island, but it hears you. We must not return." The final page was dated October 4th, 1908. Captain Martin and his entire crew were never seen again. Other explorers tried. Some returned with no memory, others with no footage despite hours of film recorded. One team in 1996 returned missing a man. The official statement? He wandered into the forest and disappeared. But there were no forests where they had traveled. It seemed every time someone got close, something intervened. Clouds, fog, memory loss, missing footage, lost crew, and always, always silence. Hy-Brasil wasn't just avoiding discovery, it was defending itself. But from what? Or from who? What if this island isn't lost, but watching? In every version of the story, Hy-Brasil is never truly gone. It only sleeps. According to Irish folklore, the island only appears once every 7 years. And only to those who are meant to see it. In 2009, a man hiking along the cliffs of County Mayo claimed he saw an island rise out of the ocean. Not emerge from fog, not drift near the coast, rise like a mountain from beneath the sea. He reached for his phone, no signal. When he looked back, the island was gone. He described it in detail. Black towers, perfect trees, and absolute silence. It didn't feel ancient, it felt alive. In 2016, a yacht crew sailing west of Galway saw strange lights on the water ahead, green, silent, and moving in circles. When they tried to follow, their compass spun wildly. Electronic equipment failed. One of the crew later said, "The sea was calm, but it felt like something underneath was waiting." These reports remain unofficial. No confirmation, no radar, only testimonies. But some believe Hy-Brasil chooses when to appear, and more disturbingly, it chooses who to take. The 7-year pattern, if the stories are true, the island follows a pattern. Sightings in 1325, 1392, 1479, 1674, 1872, 1957, 2009. Always 7 years apart, always in the same place. If that's correct, the next sighting should already have happened. Or maybe it's happening now, to someone who hasn't yet returned. There's a final theory. Some believe Hy-Brasil is not a place, but a state of memory. That those who see it are not discovering something, but remembering it. That the island is calling them back, because they were once there. The forgotten passenger. In 1973, a cruise ship worker found an elderly man alone in a lounge, staring at the sea. He was not listed on the manifest. No one knew when he boarded. No one saw him leave. All they found later was a torn postcard, a drawing of a round island with a river through the middle. And on the back, just 4 words, "Still there, still waiting." So now you know, the maps weren't wrong, the sightings weren't lies. Hy-Brasil exists, just not in the way we understand. And maybe it's still out there, in the fog, in your dreams, in the places you can't explain, watching, waiting, and remembering you.